At just 3 years old, a little girl named Paulina was left behind in a foreign country, told her parents were dead, but they were fighting hard to bring her back. By her teenage years, her unusual looks caught the attention of modeling scouts who couldn't believe their luck. Suddenly, Paulina went from shy outsider to one of the hottest supermodels on the planet, gracing magazine covers and walking the biggest runways. But behind the fame and flashing cameras was a story full of loneliness, tough choices, and a fierce fight to be seen as more than just a pretty face. By 2005, Paulina was an actress, a writer, and a mom, carving out her own place in the world. What pushed her through those early dark years? And how did she turn her struggles into success? This is her then and now. Paulina Porizkova was born Paulina Porizkova in 1965, in a small town in communist Czechoslovakia. Her parents were brave activists who spoke out against the Soviet regime. When Paulina was just 3 years old, they made a heartbreaking choice to escape their country, hoping to keep their family safe. But what was meant to be a short separation turned into a 7-year ordeal. Left behind with her grandmother, young Paulina was told a cruel lie, that her parents had died. For years, she believed she was an orphan. Meanwhile, her parents fought tirelessly through international courts and political channels, even gaining the help of the Swedish Prime Minister to reunite their family. At age 9, Paulina finally joined her parents in Sweden, but the reunion wasn't the warm, happy moment one might imagine. She didn't speak their language and barely knew them. She described it as being kidnapped by strangers pretending to be her parents. Growing up in Sweden, Paulina felt like an outsider. Kids called her weird-looking and mocked her accent. Despite her striking features, high cheekbones, piercing blue eyes, and full lips, she saw herself as awkward and plain. Bullied and beaten by classmates, she found refuge in books, losing herself in the worlds of Dostoevsky, Austen, and Dickens. Her husband, Rick Okasek, would later joke she could have been a librarian, so deep was her love for reading, and how easily she escaped reality through stories. Despite how Paulina saw herself, others couldn't deny her astounding beauty. Modeling wasn't even on her radar. She never dreamed of becoming a model. But everything changed in 1980 when a friend secretly sent her photo to the elite modeling agency. At just 15 years old, Paulina was surprised when the agency called. Thinking it was a prank, she hung up at first. Luckily, they called back. And that second call marked the true start of her modeling career. Within months of being discovered, John Casablancas, the head of Elite, sent Paulina to Paris. There, she began a meteoric rise to fame. By 17, she had moved to New York, stepping fully onto the global stage. Paulina's face soon appeared everywhere. She graced the covers of the world's top magazines, Vogue, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan, and most notably Sports Illustrated. In 1984, at just 18, she became the first Central European woman to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated's iconic swimsuit issue. Her popularity soared even higher when she appeared on the cover again the following year, 1985, a feat that launched her into superstardom. That same year, she also appeared on the cover of New York Magazine. By the mid-1980s, Paulina was impossible to miss, with top designers competing for her to walk their runways and photographers eager to capture her unique look. Her success wasn't just about magazine covers. In 1988, Paulina signed what was then considered the most lucrative modeling contract ever, a $6 million a year deal to be the face of Estée Lauder Cosmetics. This was a huge gamble for the beauty brand. Beyond Estée Lauder, she appeared in major ad campaigns for Chanel, Versace, and Revlon. Even as she became known as one of the most beautiful women in the world, Paulina struggled with the label. She often felt that people dismissed her inner struggles and intelligence because of her looks. At 20, while she was on countless magazine covers, she said people didn't want me to speak and were slightly disturbed if she did, maybe because she didn't say what they expected. Paulina stood out not just for her beauty, but for the strength and intelligence she brought to her work. Paulina Porizkova's life took a surprising and exciting turn in 1984 when she met Rick Okasek, the lead singer of the famous rock band The Cars. Their first meeting happened on the set of the music video for the band's hit song, Drive. At 18, Paulina already had a crush on Rick from watching him on MTV, and she later described their connection as love before first sight. Rick was 21 years older than Paulina and married at the time. She famously called him a combination of Mr. Spock, David Bowie, Jesus Christ, and Chopin. Her idea of the perfect man. After Rick's divorce, their relationship blossomed. 5 years later, on August 23, 1989, Paulina and Rick married in a private ceremony on the Caribbean island of St. Bart's. Their first son, Jonathan Raven, was born in 1993, followed by their second son, Oliver Orion, in 1999. Rick also had 4 children from previous relationships: Christopher, Adam, Aaron, and Derek, who became Paulina's stepchildren. During these years, Paulina made a conscious decision to put family first. Although she remained in high demand as a supermodel, she stepped back from the intense spotlight to raise their children and support Rick's career. This meant turning down major fashion campaigns, film roles, and worldwide tours. Reflecting on this, she said the sacrifices were made out of love, not obligation, adding, "I thought that's what women did," making space and compromise for family. By 2005, Paulina had become a U.S. citizen. At the same time, Paulina was expanding her career beyond modeling into acting. Before starring in films, she had already gained experience appearing in music videos for Rick's band, The Cars. Her official film debut came in 1987 with Anna, where she played a clever Czechoslovakian refugee who takes over another actress's identity to become a star. She impressed critics with how she played her role, and her theatrical career started on a success note. During 1983 and the year 2005, Paulina pursued a set combination of both independent and mainstreamed movies, including Portfolio, 1983, Wedding Bell Blues, 1996, Partners in Crime, 2000, Knots, 2004. She also made television appearances, including a memorable spot on Saturday Night Live in February 1987 and a role on the show Ned and Stacy. Besides the modeling and acting careers, Paulina Porizkova had a strong interest in writing. In hard moments, books became her escape route, and she felt that she was able to avoid bullies and loneliness. Her first published work appeared in 1992, a children's book titled The Adventures of Ralphie the Roach. Notably, the book was illustrated by Paulina's stepson, Adam Okasek, making it a special family collaboration. Paulina's creative talents continued to grow. In 2001, she took on the roles of both writer and director for the film Roommates. This project was a major step for her. She also contributed to Traveler's Tales Prague and Czech Republic. True stories. During this period, Paulina's personal interests included a love for the arts, especially classical piano and visual art. She remained a manic reader, often losing herself deeply in books for comfort and inspiration. Despite worldwide fame as one of the most beautiful women in the world, Paulina was uncomfortable with that label. She often felt that her looks overshadowed who she really was inside. She shared how people sometimes dismissed her struggles or ignored her voice because of her appearance. At 20, when she was everywhere on magazine covers, she said people didn't want me to speak, and were slightly disturbed if she did. Perhaps because she didn't say what they expected. This experience made her question why society places so much importance on beauty, especially since you do nothing to get it. In 2007, Paulina Porizkova took a bold step further into the literary world with the release of her debut novel, A Model Summer. The book tells the story of Jirina, a 15-year-old Swedish girl of Czech origin who is suddenly thrust into the intense world of modeling. While the novel draws from some of Paulina's own experiences, she has been clear that it is not an autobiography, but rather a reflection of life experience that allowed her to explore the psychological struggles behind the glamour. Writing, she explained, was a difficult and often painful process. It required her to lock herself away from distractions and face her inner thoughts head-on. Yet her drive to tell stories and be heard kept her going. To improve her skills, she continued taking classes at the New School in New York and even started a writer's workshop, which she described as fantastic for developing her craft. During this period, Paulina also reflected on her appearance on ABC's Dancing with the Stars. She felt she had been unfairly eliminated early, believing that pretty people don't deserve votes. The next chapter in her life brought both change and heartbreak. Paulina remained deeply connected to her husband, Rick Okasek, the frontman of The Cars. Even after 27 years together, in 2017 she called him the sexiest man in the world, explaining her preference for smart, funny men over pretty boys who don't age well. However, in May 2018, Paulina and Rick separated amicably. They did not legally divorce and continued living together. She described their family as a well-built car, but their relationship itself had become more like a bicycle, where they no longer pedal in unison. Tragedy struck on September 15, 2019, when Rick Ocasek died suddenly in their Manhattan townhouse. Paulina was the one who found him unconscious while caring for him after surgery. The grief was overwhelming and made even more painful by a shocking discovery. Rick had cut her out of his will, accusing her of having abandoned him. This accusation reopened one of Paulina's deepest wounds. She described hearing the word abandoned as a stab wound, though over time she chose to see it as a crime of passion to help cope with the pain. Despite a career full of success, Paulina had focused much of her energy on family life and had trusted Rick to manage their finances. After his death, she found herself without access to money, forced to borrow from friends, and even sell their home to manage on her own. After the sudden loss of Rick Ocasek and the isolating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, Paulina Porizkova began to share her raw and unfiltered grief on social media, especially Instagram, starting around 2020. She described this act as tossing out these little messages in the bottle because she often felt like she was drowning. While many fans supported her openness, some reacted with dismissive comments like, "Grandma, cover up." Paulina quickly became a powerful advocate for radical self-acceptance and the reframing of aging. She emphasized that aging is the privilege of living a long life, and there is no shame in having wrinkles, sagging skin, or gray hair. She spoke out against what she called the cloak of invisibility that women often feel starting in their mid-40s. In 2021, she made a bold comeback to magazine covers, appearing nude on the cover of Vogue Czechoslovakia. 42 years after her first modeling debut, this cover symbolized a reset and her intention to rewrite fashion industry standards about age and beauty. That same year, she briefly dated Aaron Sorkin, the acclaimed screenwriter and director. Their public appearance together at the Academy Awards was seen as a symbolic reclaiming of joy and her right to love again, regardless of age. Paulina released her memoir, No Filter: The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, in 2022. This anthology of the essays took an unchastened plunge into her astonishing career, into aging, and into a complicated relationship with Rick Ocasek. In 2023, Paulina stated that she is madly in love again, admitting that she has experienced a feeling of a love that is cherished and not dangerous. That year also saw her rekindle her relationship with Estée Lauder, a brand she had famously worked with from 1988 to 1995. This time, she viewed her role as a calling. To spread the empowering message that women are the best that we have ever been at older ages. In 2024, Paulina Porizkova was honored as one of 5 national honorees in USA Today's Women of the Year. She confidently declared that she is in her prime now. She believes she is smarter, wiser, and better with every year that passes. By 2025, her estimated net worth reached $12 million, built from a diverse career spanning modeling, acting, writing, and directing. In July 2025, she announced her engagement to Jeff Greenstein, her partner of 2 years. Paulina continues to proudly embrace her natural aging process, especially her gray hair, which she maintains and loves. In August 2025, she uploaded a candid Instagram video taken at an unflattering angle to demonstrate that although it is hard work incorporating these changes as one ages, she is the happiest she has ever been and has no desire to exchange her age with anything.